All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this daily forecast for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be Friday, July 17th. So, the last day of the week here. Let's start by looking at the economic calendar. And tomorrow, we don't really have anything interesting except maybe for a Donald Trump speech. Other than that, we do have some University of Michigan data coming out, but I don't expect a lot of volatility from that. And also, it's coming at 3 p.m. That's literally the end of the trading day, so not very interesting. I don't expect much from tomorrow. All right, so now let's dive into the charts. If we look at the dollar right here, the dollar has been doing exactly what we wanted it to do. Higher prices from that weekly fair value gap. Now, can we continue higher from this 4 hour fair value gap right here? So what I would want to do right here on the dollar is wait for a retracement back inside that 4 hour fair value gap. And then when that happens, you wait for some confirmation, and then we can look to target higher for the end of the week. Now, a reasonable target on the dollar for tomorrow, technically the first target is this high right here. But honestly, that's quite far. I don't think we can reach that in one day, especially with the low volatility. So if you want to play a little bit more safe, more conservative, aim for this high right here. Now, we don't have any majors on the interest list, but I'll take a look at them just to see maybe do we have an interesting setup um, that we can catch on the majors. So right here, AU is not interesting. Massive consolidation, not interesting. Then after that, we have GU. That's also not interesting. EU to continue lower. This is actually not so bad. We got this thing inside that weekly fair value gap, and we're now rejecting from it. So I think if we can, let's see, do we have a 4 hour fair value? Yeah, okay. So we have this 4 hour fair value gap. It's not the best, but it's there. Let's see if we can get a sting into it and aim lower. Now, again, remember tomorrow should be a low volatility day. There's no way we're going to reach this low tomorrow. So, again, just to play it safe, being more conservative, aim for this low tomorrow. So, this is interesting. I'll put it on the interest list. Then, if you look at NU, this is not interesting. USD Canadian, I don't like it. It was my favorite at the start of the week, but right now we've been consolidating for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Massive consolidations here. So, not really interesting for tomorrow. Then after that, we have USDCHF to continue higher. We have this high to reach. We have a 4 hour fair value gap. We do. We actually have this one right here and this one. I think I would want to see a retracement back into this second fair value gap. Not the first one, the second one. So yes, USDCHF could be interesting and a reasonable target for the day, I believe, could be this high right here. Then USDJPY. This is just not interesting. It's a massive consolidation. So if the dollar actually moves higher tomorrow from this 4 hour fair value gap, then I would take a look at USDCHF or EU. EU for short, USDCHF for long. Okay, so keep an eye on that 4 hour fair value gap here on the dollar. I think it could present an opportunity, but keep in mind we could have a very low volatility day tomorrow. Then moving on to the majors, sorry, the metals. So gold today delivered lower, very beautifully, actually. I really like what I'm seeing here on gold. And the problem is on the 4 hour, we don't really have a 4 hour fair value gap right there. We do have one that's a little bit higher right here. So if we get a retracement back inside that 4 hour fair value gap, I would feel comfortable looking for a short. And also that fair value gap kind of corresponds with the zero point 0.5 level. So it could be interesting, but keep in mind, could also be dangerous tomorrow, okay? But I do think we can reach this low before the end of the week, for sure. So yeah, I think gold is interesting. And we actually, this is the intermediate term high. Yeah, I think we can get somewhat of a retracement, maybe just the 4-hour fair value gap, maybe a little bit higher to that zero point 0.5 level, maybe sweep this high. But when we reach that golden area, then we can start moving lower. So gold, definitely interesting for tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it. Then silver. So the thing with silver right now is that we have reached that major low right here. So we could be in somewhat of a consolidation, maybe creating that daily fair value gap. It's a possibility. We don't really have a 4-hour fair value gap. We have this one, but it's very ugly. I don't like it. We have reached a major target. So on silver tomorrow, sorry. On silver tomorrow, I would take a step back. Just to be safe, gold is more interesting since we still have that piece of target to reach before the end of the week. Um, and then after that, for silver, we don't really have a clear next target. The next logical target, in my opinion, would probably be, well, on the from the weekly time frame perspective, it's this low down here. We also have a fair value area, which is like, yeah, it's like I think it's like a yearly fair value area. It's huge. Yeah. So I think, yeah, the next logical target for price to reach is this fair value area, but that's still far. So we still have some room to run, and I would rather wait for next week here on silver. So focus on gold tomorrow. Then after that we have crude oil consolidating today, didn't move anywhere. We're still waiting. Same thing here. We're still waiting for a retracement back inside that daily fair value gap. So nothing has changed here on crude oil. Then after that, if we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin moved lower today, not very significantly, if I'm being completely honest. Um, but I think we can still keep moving lower because this 4-hour fair value gap here, we can safely say that it has been disrespected now. So yeah, I do believe that we can get lower prices tomorrow in Bitcoin, but still be careful because volatility might not be there. So we have to keep that in mind. Then if we look at the indices, the S&P right here, we got lower prices today, but again, consolidation, not very clear price action. And then on the 4-hour, we don't have a 4-hour fair value gap, so it's really hard to tell right now. Honestly, the indices have been stuck in this massive consolidation this week, and I don't think that's going to change for tomorrow. So take a step back for the end of the week, and wait for next week. Then on Nasdaq, we got some lower prices as well. I think that Nasdaq can safely reach this low before the end of the week. I think that's possible. Again, only problem, we don't have a 4-hour fair value gap in the recent leg. Well, we have this one up here, but that's way too far. If price heads back into that 4-hour fair value gap, then that means we're just going higher. It wouldn't make sense to start going lower from here. Okay. So again, take a step back. I know we're going to get some lower prices tomorrow. I think that's pretty clear. We're going to reach that low right here, but the way to get there is just not clear at all. And finally, let's take a look at the crosses. So we had GBP Canadian right here. Oof, okay, this this is completely random. This is not what we expected. This is not good anymore. I'm removing it from the interest list. And then let's move on to GBP New Zealand dollar right here. We were expecting higher prices. We didn't get it at all. completely reversed again, completely disrespected this 4 hour fair value gap. So yeah, this is not interesting anymore for tomorrow. And then GBP Australian dollar is a very similar scenario where we got a complete reversal, which came out of nowhere. This fair value gap didn't hold, so that is just invalidated for me. So we don't have any crosses left for the rest of the week. Honestly, it has been a bad week across all the assets basically, and I just don't like the price action we got this week, and so no crosses for tomorrow. If I was going to trade tomorrow, I would wait for the dollar to clear up. Well, not to clear up, but to give us some evidence that we want to continue higher from this 4 hour fair value gap. We have EU, we have USDCHF. That could potentially be interesting. So let's keep an eye on those. Could be interesting. Then after that, we have gold. We could get some lower prices here on gold tomorrow. Potentially reach this low before the end of the week. That would be nice. Um, but again, I think that retracement all the way up here is not certain. I think, well, honestly, I think the probabilities that we're going to get that retracement are pretty low. It seems right now that price just wants to start going lower from here. We'll see. We'll have to react. But again, tomorrow is Friday. Not a lot of volatility, so be careful. Crude oil right here. Crude oil, well, we've been consolidating for the past 3 days, and every we're just waiting for a retracement back inside this daily fair value gap. So that's just waiting again. Bitcoin, potentially some lower prices could be very interesting. And then the indices take a step back. We've been consolidating too much. Um, I don't think anything significant is going to happen tomorrow. So take a step back. The only thing that I would say could be interesting are the majors, EU and USDCHF, and then gold, maybe. Okay. But overall, again, I know I've said it like 15 times in this video, but low volatility tomorrow. Not a lot of economic news. Maybe just that Donald Trump speech could impact the markets, but be very careful and monitor the volatility. So that's it, lads. That's it for tomorrow's forecast. I will be back on Sunday with the weekly forecast. Thank you for listening. Trade safe tomorrow. Have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Ciao.